morning. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. That's the only standing ovation I'll get all day, so thank you. Oh, thank you. Good morning. Let us begin our time together with a prayer. From Isaiah we hear, "But now, says the Lord, who created you and who formed you, I have called you by your name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers, they shall not overflow. For I am the Lord your God. Since you were precious in my sight, you have been honored, and I have loved you. I am with you." When I hear these words from Isaiah, it's easy to think that these soon-to-be associates are most certainly called by God to be here today. During their 2-year Franciscan Way of Life process, they have spent time discerning what their path is. And they listened to God's call, and now they're with us here today. What a joy. We also remember that each of us are on a journey and are continually called, again and again, to respond to God's call in our lives, to be aware of our path and where it invites and leads us, wherever that might be. Today, we celebrate and give thanks for all the ways God calls us and all the ways that we respond to that call. God knows us by name. I am grateful for this opportunity for you to meet our 11 candidates who will soon become associates at our liturgy later this morning. The 11 people here participated in 7 different Franciscan Way of Life processes. I'd like to take this time to thank all of our Franciscan Way of Life facilitators for your commitment and the effort that you put into that 2-year process for our people. I just want to thank you. So some of those facilitators are here, and the rest of you are in our audience as well. So I've invited the Franciscan Way of Life facilitators for the 11 people here, and they will have the opportunity to introduce our soon-to-be new associates. Each candidate will then share a little bit about themselves and why they desire to become an associate with us.
Hello, I am Janet Caswell. Kathy Glatz and I facilitated a Franciscan Way of Life process, which was held in person in Ames. From this group, Audrey Watney and Marie McCuskey have discerned to become associates. I invite Audrey and then Marie to introduce themselves to you.
Hello, I am Audrey Watney, and I am from Ames, Iowa. I attended Nyack College in Nyack, New York, and studied comparative religion. I began to explore the Middle East and Islam at the same time the U.S. was becoming deeply entrenched in war in Iraq and Afghanistan. In 2015, I traveled to Kurdistan, Iraq, and worked for several different areas, ranging from peace education to agricultural development to support for education for displaced people. I returned to the U.S. in 2020, and I currently work at Iowa State University as a student services specialist and serve the students' population there. I focus on equity and integrity from the side of the university, and I advocate for the rights of all students. The Franciscan value of ongoing conversion frees me to look at myself as constantly changing and full of potential to receive a new calling, new learning, and new identity. Another value I espouse is joy. In the beginning of the 2-year Franciscan Way of Life process, I wanted more joy in my life. As I finished the process, I was surprised by the degree to which my joy had increased and become more constant, and I intend to keep this value top of mind. The openness of the Franciscan Way of Life for creating space for my journey was extremely healing for me. I am seeking to be open to what doors may open and to find ways to integrate these into my day-to-day life as an associate.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Marie McCuskey from Ames, Iowa. It's just a joy to be here today. Standing here, I want to thank all of you. My work experience includes working as a special education teacher with children with learning disabilities, assisting seniors at a senior center in Ames, and then returning to school to earn a degree in marriage and family therapy. Before retiring, I worked as a counselor at a nonprofit in Ames with children and their families. Participating in the Franciscan Way of Life program offered me the opportunity to learn about Francis and Claire and the values they embodied and carried out, lived in their lives. What struck me was how relevant that was for today and how the need is greater now than ever. In becoming an associate, I desire to be active in this community, a community of faith that works for the good of the world, a community that has not wavered in their mission. As an associate, I hope to strengthen both my own resolve and faith and bring my best thoughts and efforts to the mission of this larger community. Thank you.
Hello, I am Sister Sarah Colas, and I helped facilitate Franciscan Way of Life at Briarcliff University. From this process, Candace Chiak has discerned to become an associate. I invite Candace to introduce herself to you.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Candace Chihak, and I'm from Waukee, Iowa. I have been a nurse for over 34 years, and my specialty is focusing on the community and public health nursing. For 10 years, I worked at Mount Mercy University and then at Briarcliff University. Currently, I am working as a staff development nurse manager at Bishop Drum Retirement Center in Johnston. I have had many opportunities to provide service to others, including being a volunteer for street medicine, where I worked weekly meeting with people who were homeless and struggling and providing some basic health care to them. I've also volunteered at United Way, deciding on how their funds would be used within the community. I live the value of community in my personal and my professional life. I am always looking for how I can support others and how I can be part of a healthy, loving environment. I feel that my teaching and my volunteer activities speak clearly to standing with the poor and caring for creation. We are called to value all of life. The Franciscan Way of Life process provided an opportunity to learn more about St. Francis, who he was, and why he lived the life he lived. The story of St. Francis and the Sultan challenged me to accept people for who they are. I desire to become a Franciscan associate so that I may continue to grow in faith and to live a life worthy.
Hello, I am Sister Janet May and Jane Shea, who is unable to be here today, and I were the Franciscan Way of Life facilitators for a group that met on Zoom. From this group, Abigail Shiak has discerned to become an associate. I invite Abigail to introduce herself.
Good morning. I'm Abigail Chihak, and I am from Waukee, Iowa. I graduated from Briarcliff University, as well as the Brown School at Washington University in St. Louis. I currently serve as the Community Health Administrator for the Dallas County Health Department, where I oversee our health communications and health improvement planning, as well as many other duties as assigned. I served as a Common Venture volunteer in Morton, Mississippi during the 2015-2016 school year. I also volunteer at my church as a lector, music minister, small group leader, and Eucharistic minister. I regularly volunteer with the Iowa Mission of Mercy, an annual free dental experience for those without insurance. Two Franciscan values that I embrace are community and care for creation. I rely a lot on my community to support me through major life milestones. I also help care for God's creation by empowering our community to support initiatives that protect our waterways, our groundwater, and that enhance our green spaces. My backyard is also home to a large vegetable garden and a pollinator garden. I have thoroughly enjoyed learning about the Franciscan values in my time at Briarcliff, as well as a Common Venture volunteer and through my 2-year Franciscan Way of Life process. The Franciscan values align with my personal values, and as I desire to live them out as an associate with this Franciscan congregation.
Good morning. I'm Sister Virginia Helder. We are often confused for each other. This morning I am confused. Anyway, the two of us did a Franciscan Way of Life as a group on Zoom. So from this group, Kristen Cabrera and Mary Catau have decided or discerned to become associates. So I invite Kristen to come forward first, and then Mary to introduce themselves.
Good morning, buenos dias. I'm Christine Guevara. So I'm from Cedar Falls, and I'm a clinical psychologist that began working in this capacity in 2008. I'm originally from LA and have lived in Mexico City as well. I've been working in the mental health field since I began my education in '98, whether it was counseling, skill building, program analysis, testing, translating assessments, research, or supervising other mental health professionals. However, in my spare time, I love doing my dance ministry at Queen of Peace. I'm also a homebound communion minister. I just finished training with the Catechesis of the Good Shepherd, so that's for 3 to 6-year-olds. And I support the Latinx Catholic faith events in Waterloo. I participate in Women of Faith in the Cedar Valley area, and I serve as the Fiesta Committee entertainment chair for the Waterloo Center for the Arts. I strive to live the Franciscan value of joy, but not joy just in fun times, also in times of adversity. This is about allowing God to create sacred moments in our lives that fill us with joy. Joy is not something you look for. I feel it is a condition of the heart that allows the grace of God to permeate myself and others with overwhelming strength, courage, and love. I also strive to live the value of conversion, being open in times of contemplation as God's invitation comes closer to our lives. The process of discernment is constant, and there is a beat of grieving that has to happen as I change every day and strive for my community to also change every day. In the Franciscan way of life, I realized that I have to surrender my will over to God in order for God to take over, to accept the mission that I'm called to at any given point in my life. Franciscan way of life taught me that there is so much learning that still needs to happen, so much conversion yet to experience, because St. Francis taught us that it never ends. It is a constant life process that never ends. And I'm honored to be an associate today.
Hi. Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Mary Tao. I am from Knoxville, Tennessee. I currently work as Associate Dean for Equity and Inclusion and Associate Professor of Practice at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. Prior to that, I was at Clark University for 9 years, so it's so good to be back home. A few years ago, I established a community center called Bariki in Kenya, where I grew up. The vision is for the project to give back to the community that nurtured and provide American students opportunity to engage in global awareness and service projects. Many projects have been accomplished in the community with the assistance from the Franciscan community and other donors. I live the value of the community. I'm heavily involved in the community projects and activities for many years, and I focus on serving the marginalized communities. I have great passion for working with immigrants and refugees, and I seek numerous opportunities to engage and be involved. I also respond to God's call by studying with the poor. I do this through many ongoing projects in Kenya. Participating in the Franciscan way of life provided me an opportunity for deep reflection and contemplation on many processes. The process centered on love for God, simplicity, service, peace, and justice, which all are values that resonate with me in so many ways. So many things I do and I care about. Several significant pieces of information and insight from many of the sessions empowered me as a believer and deepened my understanding of Franciscan values. I look forward to the opportunity to serve as a Franciscan associate for the period that God will allow.
Hello, I am Sister Marie Segrand, and Sister Virginia Jennings and I were facilitators for the Franciscan Way of Life for a group that met on Zoom. From this group, Patsy and Paul Carlson have discerned to become an associate. I invite Patsy and then Paul to introduce themselves to you.
There's a Franciscan.
Good morning. I'm Patsy Carlson, and I'm from Ankeny, Iowa, and it's so good to be here with you this morning. I'm retired from active ministry as an adult faith formation director and a religious education director. I changed my notes, and I shouldn't have done that. Okay. I have been part of a community at the Emmaus House for many years, and my husband and I lead Just Faith groups as part of our active ministry today. I volunteer for the Des Moines Catholic Worker, which really keeps me in touch with the margins. I serve on our Social Justice Committee at my parish, and I have provided the formation material for our committee. with assistance much from Virginia at times. Care for Creation has been a focus for us for some time. We garden and provide a habitat for bees and pollinators. We are aware of the environment in the way that we avoid paper products and styrofoam. We try to do all those things. We are currently leading a module, a Just Faith module on sacred water at our parish, and wow, has that been very moving. The Franciscan way of life was a beautiful and inspiring process. I learned much about the Franciscans as well as Saints Francis and Clare. Being in the midst of this community is nothing but inspiring and awesome. I was especially moved by the information on the Incarnation, which was so eye-opening about my own faith and what really makes sense. The material on creation was also very inspiring, but mostly the sisters themselves and their extraordinary missions and skills. I have read and I accept the mission statement and therefore humbly ask to be accepted. Having a stronger and more prayerful connection with this community of sisters and associates will continue to help me live my call. Thank you.
I am Paul Carlson from Ankeny, Iowa, where I have been married with Patsy for 42 years. I am currently retired after a career as an accountant in the not-for-profit sector. I have volunteered in various ways through my entire adult life, including as a lector in my parish and donating blood. I serve at the food pantry, I prepare tax returns for the lower income, and am a member of our Social Justice Committee. As Patsy mentioned, we've also facilitated several Just Faith groups, including currently one about sacred water. When I think about my Franciscan way of life process, I think about the session on creation. The idea that I'm tiny, but not insignificant came up. I have always been quick to be a passive bystander in life, thinking that I have a very small role that might not even matter. Well, that mentality was challenged. Also, Francis and Clare just illustrated the strength of community, and that has really inspired me. My efforts to live simply based on the gospel with joy will be greatly enhanced when I am surrounded and supported by this Franciscan community. I have read and accept the mission statement and humbly ask to continue my journey as a Franciscan associate.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Mary Jo Pfeiffer Wolf, and along with Mary Ann Koch, we facilitated a Franciscan Way of Life group that met in person and online. And Eileen May and Janine Freeman from that group have discerned to become associates. So I now invite Eileen first and then Janine to introduce themselves.
Hello. Hello. I'm Eileen May, and I've been here for this gathering these last couple of days, and it's been pure delight. It's been pure delight. I feel like I'm with my people. After serving in the Peace Corps with my husband, I went to medical school and practiced family medicine in Indianola. I retired in medicine in 2008 and went back to school and received a certificate in spiritual direction and directed retreats from Creighton University. I then served on the board at Emmaus House and co-facilitated retreats at Emmaus House and at St. John's Abbey in Collegeville. Now I'm really retired. and experiencing with great joy my 5-year-old granddaughter. One way I live the Franciscan values is through trying to live more simply, donating items that are no longer of service in my home. The simplicity of life in the Peace Corps had a great impact on me. With that simplicity was a sense of connectedness to the people in our village and the dependence among all of us in the village. My hope is to live more gently on Mother Earth. I try to care for creation and be aware of the gift of creation and Mother Earth and wish to protect it. Planting seeds, enjoying the birds, seeing wildlife are all activities I enjoy with my granddaughter. I feel ready to make the commitment to being an associate and to embrace the Franciscan way of life more deeply and being in community with others who desire this way of being in the world. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Janine Freeman. I was born in Sioux City, and currently I'm from Des Moines. I'm a graduate of Briarcliff University, as well as the University of Iowa. I first was a librarian in my career, and I loved it. But I returned to law school, originally to become a law librarian, but became a lawyer. I worked, my career in the law was primarily in healthcare, and it truly was a wonderful career for me. I feel very blessed. And that career took place at the Iowa Attorney General's office, with the Iowa Hospital Association, with the Iowa Medical Society, and in private practice. It was my job that first brought me to Dubuque. We had different meetings and other gatherings here in Dubuque, including a court case. So I love this community. I also was privileged to serve on many community boards and committees, and church committees as well, professional too. Some of them were Hospice of Central Iowa, the St. Catherine of Siena Foundation, the Center for Social Ministry, Just Faith, the Iowa Board of Medicine's Physician Health Committee, and committee work through my current community, the Des Moines Intentional Eucharistic Community in Des Moines. What you said over here about it's all evolutionary is so very true. While busy with my career and service activities, my family, rather large and extended, and some of whom are here today, remain very important to me, as well as my friends. And I've had the privilege of several travels, including to Kenya. I was pleased when you mentioned that. The Franciscan values I am drawn to are joy. I was stunned in my Franciscan way of life formation to hear that joy was important to Francis. And care for God's creation, which I support through small ways that I guess in the long term are really important, and also in hoping to become more aware. I'm very impressed with what the Mount has done in the area of the environment and supporting God's creation and leading the way for the rest of us in our worlds as well. I struggle with simplicity, but also find myself being more aware as a result of a Franciscan way of life. I think of my Franciscan way of life learnings pretty much every day. I ask for your blessing to be commissioned as an associate in this Franciscan community. I make this request after much thinking and praying. I seek to better understand and walk with the Franciscan charism as I ask to be an associate of your community. Thank you very much.
I am Jane Heyer. Good morning. Good morning. Nancy Knipper,
Sister Michaela Gallus and I were the Franciscan Way of Life facilitators for a group that met in person at Mount St. Francis Center. From this group, Ron Weitz has discerned to become an associate. I now invite Ron to introduce himself.
Good morning. My name is Ron Weitz, and I am from Dubuque, Iowa. In the past, I've struggled to discern a career that I would enjoy, and I knew I wanted to do something that would make a difference. With my mother's encouragement, I enrolled in the CNA course at NICC and later the RN program. And I've been a registered nurse since 2001 and only found contentment in the field after accepting a full-time position here at Mount St. Francis. Where I've been for the past 20 years. I've come to realize this is my place of service and what we do every day. To the leadership, sisters, associates, and friends of Mount St. Francis Center, I gratefully thank you for the honor and privilege of allowing me into your home to serve. With full disclosure, I have felt as though I were walking behind the sisters these past 20 years, listening, learning, and being inspired. What a joy to realize I was amongst fellow seekers. I now humbly request to become an associate and hopefully walk side by side with the Sisters of St. Francis and associates. I vow to walk forward with faith to wherever this new adventure takes me in the hope that we can co-create a brighter future together.
Thank you to those who shared with us so deeply. We have heard many ways in which these 11 are called to live the Franciscan values in our everyday lives, and we are grateful for each of you. So now I invite you to turn to the person next to you. How do you live a Franciscan value in your lives? Just share with that person one-on-one, one value that is important to you, one way that you live it. We all are called to live the Franciscan values, and we heard beautifully from these 11. So let's share one story with someone next to us. And while we're doing that, our new associates will be weaving their ribbon into our tapestry that we have created. So their weaving, their stories become a part of our piece of art, become a part of our stories. So they will weave that while we are all talking with one another and sharing one way in which we live a value. the large group. I invite you to come back to the large group. I just thank you for taking time to share with one another a way that you are called to live a Franciscan value. Thank you. This morning, we also recognize two people who are celebrating 25 years of being an associate. Our associate, Regina Schmidt, is celebrating 25 years. She is unable to be here with us this morning. But we take the time to honor her and remember her, and we know that she is holding us in prayer. When I have talked to her, she assures me that she holds us in prayer. And so that is the way that she lives, one way that she lives a Franciscan value. So blessings on Regina as she celebrates. Mary Ann Cope. Mary Ann Koch is also celebrating 25 years, and she is here with us today, and I invite her to share a few words with us as well.
I looked at the picture of Regina. Her last name is the same as my last name was for about 20 or 30 years, so that connects. So she is here through me also. Thank you. So I wanted to start with good morning to everybody. Yes. And I'm Mary Ann Cope. I now live in Des Moines and am fortunate enough to have a son. My one son lives only about 6 blocks from me in Des Moines, so that's been a joy for me. Throughout my 40-some years of career, I was an educator, mostly with upper grades and high school students. And then I worked in the Academic Achievement Center in Des Moines Area Community College for the Boone campus. Alongside my professional career in education, and now in retirement, I have ventured to walk the Franciscan way of life with all of you, sisters and associates. And I call you my sisters and my associates. You don't belong to me. My heart belongs with you. Today I'm celebrating 25 years of being an associate. This has been my joy, my privilege, and my challenge. Earlier this week, I came across a small poster. I'll show you. I'm always better at show and tell than I am at expressing myself. So.
What's it say?
What does it say?
Rescue can't read that part.
I'm coming. I thought the poster says, I will deepen my Franciscan identity by focusing more deliberately on our core Franciscan values of conversion, minority, poverty, contemplation, and community. And then in the small print down below, it says, I will more radically embrace these values. So after my 25 years, I am still working on the radical part. Okay, Nancy gave me like 3 minutes to do this. And I thought, that's going to take more like 3 hours. But before I would get very far, she would mute my mic. However, I can say that I feel most like a Franciscan when I'm outside walking, and I got to walk through the prairie yesterday morning, and it's just glorious. Or I work in the dirt. You know, I did clean up a little, but usually there's dirt under my fingernails. So. Despite that, I'll say, I simply want to share that I am trying to do what I say I am, and that has always been a challenge. In trying to express what being an associate has meant to me, I just couldn't find the words. to express it. So the best I can do is say, thank you for inviting me along this journey. Thank you for walking with me on the journey. Thank you for opening your arms to me, and I will continue to walk with you. Peace and all goodwill to all of you.
Thank you for sharing with us, Mary Ann, and blessings as you continue your Franciscan journey. As we end this time together, let us share our blessing for Mary Ann and for Regina. And we sing. Thank you all for being here. And just a reminder that liturgy will be in Francis House Chapel at 10:30, and we hope to see you there. Enjoy this time together. You will have a few minutes to meet with our associates, but we are going to leave for a group picture. So you will also have time to visit with them after Mass at our lunch at Francis House. Thank you.